Thank you for purchasing your new pellet stove from EarthSense Energy Systems. In this video guide, we're going to walk through the most common installations with our direct temp venting. Direct temp venting is a single pipe design that incorporates both outside air for combustion as well as expelling our flue gas exhaust. By drawing our outside air with the same venting, we are preheating that air before it enters the stove. We offer two venting kits. The C kit is for straight out and corner out applications, whereas our A kit is for up and out applications ranging from 6 feet to 9.5 feet. As you can see, the direct temp venting comes galvanized. We do offer over 20 varieties in high temperature paint to customize for your installation. Please be aware there may be items located inside of your firebox. These must be removed prior to installation. Shown here are the contents of our A kit for up and out installations. Not all pieces will be used. Unused pieces may be returned. With our up and out A kit, we have several straight sections of vent that can be used to determine our final height. Included in the kit is a 1-foot adjustable piece, which can be an ideal section to attach not only our 90-degree elbow to, but to have as the final straight section of venting in place. The 1-foot adjustable will slide down on any straight section of vent. Once in place, use the provided screws and silicone around the border. Each straight section of vent has a lock tab. Be sure to push in the locking tab, inserting one of the reinforcement screws into each piece. Let's get started. For our up and out installation, we're going to have our transition low profile adapter connecting directly to our vertical T, positioning wherever it's going to be easiest to access. Once set, use the provided screws and high temperature silicone to secure in place. Once our T is set into our transition, we can go ahead and put on our cleanout cap. A filler cap from the bottom of the T has to be removed before our cleanout cap can go in place. The cleanout cap can be positioned in multiple directions, whichever may be easiest for you to access. Once set, use the provided screw in silicone. Our multi-fit stove adapter is going to be located inside of your stove's firebox on all models except for Harman. On Harman stoves, our multi-fit will be attached directly to the exhaust stub. Place the multi-fit adapter securely inside of the transition as shown here. Once set and secure, use the provided screws and high temperature silicone. Once complete, our finished product should look like this shown here. Silicone applied between the T and the low profile transition adapter, silicone applied around the multi-fit to the T, and around the T-cap cleanout to the bottom of the T. Now that we have our transition low profile adapter securely onto our T and our multi-fit securely into the T, we're ready to attach to the stove. For most stoves, we're going to be placing the multi-fit adapter directly on the exhaust, tightening down the hose clamp, and siliconing around the border. For today's example, we're on a Harman stove. Harman stoves have the multi-fit adapter pre-siliconed and secured onto the exhaust stub. When resecuring, be sure to make sure that the gasket is in place and snug down the 3 bolts tightly. From this point, we're ready to attach our fresh air flex. Our fresh air intake flex will go directly into the intake on the back of the unit, and there may be some variance based on makes and models. Once into the back of the stove, we can angle the fresh air flex directly into the side of the transition as shown here, and we'll tighten down the hose clamp to secure in place. Our stove is now in place with our transition and multi-fit adapter attached. Let's mark our hole. A compass and a straight edge can be very helpful tools in this process. You can either measure floor to center of where the vent pipe needs to exit out, or place the pieces together to the exit point and mark the hole like I'm doing here. Make sure that you have your stove centered on the pad. It is important to check all the clearances inside the home and outside the home based on your owner's manual. A stud finder can be a great tool if applicable for the installation to make sure there's no obstructions in the wall before cutting our hole. Marks can now be drawn on the wall, and a compass can be used to draw our 8.5-inch hole outline. Shown here are the tools that we're going to use to create our exit hole. It is important to have protective eyewear. We also are going to have a drill with a long bit. That way it goes all the way through the home, creating a center point on the outside. It's important to have a drop cloth in place and a nearby vacuum cleaner so we're not to make a mess. Let's get started. Now that we have our center point drilled from the inside to the outside of the house, we're ready to start cutting our hole. It's important when cutting the hole that we either are using a jab saw or a sawzall and only inserting the blade slightly as to not catch any wires or insulation that may be inside the wall. Let's get started. With our hole now cut, we can go ahead and put our thimble in place. Our wall thimble ensures that the piping meets its recommended clearance as it passes through the wall. The thimble will be placed as shown. Once set, we can screw down in each corner and silicone around the border. Note that you can trim down the border of the thimble if necessary to tuck underneath the J-channeling of vinyl siding. Now that we have the outside wall thimble in place, we're ready to insert the inside wall thimble. The inside wall thimble will slide inside of the sleeve from the outside, and it's important to make sure there are no gaps inside as we connect the two pieces. Once set, we will screw in each corner and silicone around the border. Your wall thimble will also contain a decorative trim plate. This trim plate may be used on the inside of the house to cover up the thimble or as you go through a false ceiling in a vertical installation. In some cases, the trim plate may need to be trimmed down for various installations. Once set, we will screw down in each corner. With our wall thimble now securely in place, we can run our exit vent through. In most cases, a 2-foot length is recommended. However, other sections may be used. Always make sure that you do not have pipe connected inside of the thimble. Now that we have this set, we can move our stove into place and finalize our installation. We now have our stove in its final installation spot. Our venting was lined up to the exit vent going out the wall. We've pushed the two pieces of pipe together. We'll push down the lock tab and we'll drill a reinforcement screw. We first want to silicone around where the venting went through the wall thimble. This ensures that smoke and drafts cannot enter back into the home. Once thoroughly siliconed, we're ready to place on our termination adapter. The termination adapter allows fresh air to be sucked in here, while our flue gas exhaust exits here. At the end of the termination, we have an option for just placing a screen with the provided cotter pins on the outside, which the screen acts as not only a spark arrestor, but also keeps birds and rodents from entering the venting. If we're more than 2 feet off ground level outside, you can use the 45-degree termination elbow, along with the decorative cone cap, placing the screen on the end. This works very well for high wind terminations. At the end of the season, we recommend removing the termination adapter and placing the summer cap on, which will ensure that birds, rodents, and moisture cannot enter the vent in the off-season. Congratulations! You've just completed your stove installation. If you feel comfortable with your installation, fire up your new stove. If you smell smoke, shut the unit down and wait for the EarthSense final inspection. This video has been created as a helpful guide tool. Always refer to the manufacturer's installation and operations manual. Thanks again for choosing EarthSense Energy Systems.